Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K Rock and Metal channel, and today we're having a discussion on why does it suck sometimes being a YouTuber. So, we've had this channel up and running for about a year now, and I thought it was it's been an emotional time, guys. It can be a bit up, it can be a bit down, and I thought I would get your opinion from your points of view about the things that suck about doing YouTube. I've had 5 years of doing it, so I've got probably a lot more examples of what things suck about being it. But I'd love to get from your point of view the things that kind of put you off about things that make you kind of go, do you know what? I'm stopping this. I've just had enough. So I think, Andy, you should kind of throw in your initial thoughts on this one.
This is something I never thought I'd ever do. When sort of Kirk got us together sort of 18 months ago to sort of put forward the idea of a project whereby we approach and try and interview somebody was a real surprise, and I'm really glad to be involved, and the fact that it's developed into this channel is really good as well. The sort of most disappointing thing for me, and the reason it sucks to be a YouTuber, is particularly it's the views really. We've got some big names, on our screens here for the interviews, and I'm thinking, particularly when Aaron Stainthorpe, I initially done the approach. Dave, you done a lot of work approaching him to get involved. We set a date. All three of us jumped on a Zoom chat. We had an amazing time. Me and Kirk in particular, sort of prepared for it. Structured our questions. Who was going to ask what time, and it was. We end there. We're all on a high. Dave, you do your editing, put it all together, schedule it, put it out. I've shared it to every My Dying Bride Facebook group I'm in, every metal Facebook group I'm in. I put it on my own page probably 4 or 5 times, and I haven't looked recently, but the views are in the low hundreds. And this is it's it is my favourite band, and it was one of my musical idols that I mentioned at the beginning that we was due to interview, and I was just sort of disappointed by the numbers really.
So when you see something like that where you've put like a lot of effort into the interview, we've obviously done the work behind the scenes to make sure that we've edited it to the right level. We put it out there, and then you see those views and the lack of engagement from viewers. What goes through your head about it? What do you feel like about you going back onto YouTube, knowing that we'll be getting together on a Thursday to do another 2 hours of discussion, videos, reviews? How are you feeling when you come on these?
The same as I do every week. I don't let that sort of bring me down at all. I still really enjoy and look forward to these sessions. We've now got the opportunity of getting sort of early listen to some big name albums that are coming out. In our sort of email inbox, we get sort of promo copies, as it were. So I love what we're doing. I'm just thinking of mainly yourself, really, the time and effort you must put in putting it all together and uploading it. But this is something I really still do enjoy. Our weekly sessions, I enjoy going to the local shows, recording the footage and seeing the results that you put together. Putting it all piecing it all together. Again, those are disappointing as well, but I'm not expecting anywhere near the numbers for those, because they are sort of just local bands that I enjoy watching and follow. But the disappointment of the numbers doesn't sort of put me off wanting to still be involved and sort of trying to grow this channel.
How about you, Kirk? 'Cause you've obviously got Screen Blast Repeat as well as what we put out here on the A.D.K channel as well. So you've got a couple of different sort of elements of stuff that you're putting through. So how does it feel? What are the things that suck for you about doing YouTube?
Okay, I hate that term. That's an American term, isn't it? If something sucks, we don't really use that as English people. I certainly don't. So what demoralizes me, I'd prefer to use.
Oh, he has to use big language, doesn't he? He can't use common tongue.
I just hate that saying.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either, but
it's an American saying. I just hate how we've imported that into our everyday lives. But what demoralizes me? Very little. First of all, when you look at the content of other, think, wow, how can I get to that standard? Punk Rock NBA, Tank the Tech, Trash Theory. There's some amazing musical content out there. So I never want to sound like special. If we're not getting views, it's because we're not being seen, or we're not putting out content that's unique. I think we are putting our heart into it, but we're improving, me and Andy, all the time, because we're new to this, Andy, aren't we? And with Scream Bash Repeat, I don't really like putting myself in front of the camera. I've only started doing it at episode 50 of Album of the Week, because I've noticed that if you watch that channel, Rock and Roll True Stories, he started doing it at the beginning, and I just warmed to him. I loved it anyway, the documentaries that he does. And then when I saw his first, like, even better. So I've started doing that. With me, I'm shocked at how poor my sense of humor is. Honestly, I've learned a lot. When I tried to do a reaction on my own and tried to land a joke and laugh, it is so contrived. I don't mean to be, but even I'm thinking, this is not funny. Don't do that again. So you learn the hard way, really, don't you? Fortunately, there's not enough people watching to be to be critical of it. I always think about, it was quite amusing the way that Finn McKenty of the Punk Rock NBA did this video on why should anyone bother about your music or your content. And it's really, the amusing example he used is somebody moaning because they've written a technical death metal song and it took them 7 days to write it. Why should someone listen to that, though? Just because you put all that labor in, there's not a market for that. People probably don't want to hear it if it just clones everything else out there that sounds like Obscura and Gorguts and all these bands. So what are we doing different? We're not doing anything different. And I'm not being critical of that either, because do you know they used to have that saying, everyone's got a novel in them? Now, with this platform, everyone's got a YouTube channel in them, haven't they? That's really where we are.
Yeah.
And we do this because it helps to cultivate our friendship. I love the idea that I can interview contemporary bands and some of my idols. So as a platform, that is fantastic. But yeah, just to answer the question, what is the most demoralizing aspect? Of course, it is that you're putting yourself on show. And if you put a video out and it has 7 views, that does look pathetic, and it can be a bit of a soul-crushing experience. But I'm not putting out any special pleading or saying people should start watching our videos. Go and watch what you want. If you don't like us and you want to ignore it, I'm not going to be offended. There's so much content out there.
Yeah.
But Dave, we've been doing it for a year. You've been doing this for 5 years. So we can learn from you. What is demoralizing? What sucks about being a YouTuber?
So it's a slightly different spin for me, because obviously the background that I do with the loading up and the editing and stuff, which is a slightly different thing apart from. So obviously when we finish on our Thursday sessions, it's like, right, see you guys in a week's time, and then I go off for the next like 2 days for about 8 hours chopping everything up and putting it all together. So I have to make sure I plan that time in, which is fine because I enjoy doing it. And then I'll go on and I have there's 5 YouTube channels that I oversee. So 3 that are an ongoing concern and 2 that don't take up much time. The hardest bit is, I mean, the thing that Andy said about views is one of the ones, because especially when you put loads in and you think, do you know what? I've watched this video, I've edited it. This is flowing brilliantly. This sounds great. This looks great. It's really interesting. And you put it out there and you're like, I've shared it to every Facebook group I can see. And then 24 hours later, you look and you go 27 views and you're like, but why? Now, I know that YouTube, there's about 1.8 million videos are uploaded every single day. So you're competing with that many videos every single day. And it's literally like in the business world, it's the 1%ers. There's this 1% of channels that get the bulk of the views on YouTube, and you're up against them. There are so many channels, so many people started channels in 2020 when they were all at home and they all thought, I know, I can't go to work and I've been put on home leave or whatever. I can't do anything. I'll start a YouTube channel and make loads of money. I had family friends that contacted me about doing that, and I was like, that's not going to happen. I said, do it if you want to do it. If you want to talk to the camera and you want to put something out there, do it. But don't do it because you're trying to make money, because you won't. because there's only the 1%ers of YouTube that do make money.
So
The
we're
rest
talking about
of us,
PewDiePie there, aren't we? The most
we're talking the
successful
PewDiePie's,
YouTuber of all
Mr.
time.
Beast, and then you've got all the tech channels like Linus Tech Tips and all these other big channels that have got the big over 1 million subscribers. Now the problem is you've got to forget about chasing subscribers. Subscribers are lovely; they give you plaques, but they don't give you money. That's the problem with subscribers. You tend to find that most of your views, on an average, you're talking around about 90% of your views on any particular video will be non-subscribed people, because that's just how people work. The thing that frustrates me or sucks about being YouTube and what we do is we've always talked about our videos being integral. So we always do everything with integrity. We're honest. We don't play up to the camera. We don't do pretend reactions. We don't do clickbait thumbnails. We've never done that. And I get really, the thing that I hate about the YouTube is that we could go down that route and we'd be more successful doing it. We could pick videos to react to that we know get lots of views, and we could say that we absolutely love this band, they're so amazing, and we could all jump around in our chairs like and we would get 100,000 views on that video, but they won't watch the next one where we've given an honest reaction, because they don't care about that. And that's the thing, we're doing this slow burn, and that's why I have to remind myself every time when I look at it, because I think, got to put this content out, and that's the thing, is you've got to have a daily video in my back of my head. So I'm always sitting there going, shit, we've only got 2 more videos and then we've run out of content. Crap, I've got to get more content together. And then I look at my other channel and go, shit, I've got no content due to go on that. I need to find something I've got to go off and get a video shot for that. So that's the thing that sucks the most about YouTube, is it's not like you can have time off from it. You're always thinking about, if you're going to have a week's holiday, you've got to have a week's worth of videos scheduled, recorded, ready to be dropped and scheduled into your timeline. And all the big channels know exactly the same problem. They're always filming because they're always thinking ahead. They've got to have that content, because as soon as you stop putting content out, you are no longer relevant on YouTube.
You see burnout, don't you? You know, when you look at people like Jared Dines, you'll know him, won't you? That American musician, but also he put out some great content. And he's just suffered burnout. But look what he's done outside of that. You know, he did that album with the Killswitch Engage singer.
Yeah, Howard.
He does that, the world's biggest shred, doesn't he? Which is fantastic. The one, when you look at Nick Nocturnal, he's the same. You can see the bags under his eyes, because exactly what you said. If he has to do a week's holiday, he's probably working an extra 50% in the week leading up to it to make sure that content is going out there. And I think you're going to see more of this what we call the burnout syndrome, because people, they'll get to a stage and they'll be thinking, yes, this is good, you know, the 1%, I'm making all this money, but I just can't have any time off from this because I'll lose momentum.
Here's the other thing to think about, is that if you were thinking about a business that ran with the amount of content, so you put out a video that's 25 minutes, half an hour long, that's probably, with all the editing, etc., that's taken a day of that person's life, 8-9 hours or something to shoot it, edit it, etc. So that's a full day for one video. But there's only one person. There's always just the host. That means he's got to do 8 hours for every video, which means he's constantly doing video content. Yeah. The only way it works is, and you wouldn't do that as a business, if you were working for a company, there are other people there that can take that work, so you have a day off. You don't have that on YouTube. Unless you've got, like in this case, there's the 3 of us. So if we were all doing our own content, then you wouldn't have to worry, because actually you'd have 2 videos from Andy, 3 from me, 2 from Kirk. Then I'd have 3 days of work and 4 days off. Brilliant. But because we do it all together, it doesn't quite work. Now, we obviously do this once a week where we film everything, but obviously then that works for the content we're doing. But it's that element, I think, is one of the things that sucks, is that you can't actually just walk away from it. You know that if you walk away from your YouTube channel, it's very hard to kick it back in.
Within a month, isn't it?
So yeah, it is a challenge. So you've got to keep yourself motivated. But I think for anyone who thinks that YouTube's easy, you just put a camera on and you sit in front of it and go, yeah, send, it's uploaded, done, and then you get hundreds of thousands of views in and lots of money. That's not how it works. And it sucks, because you put in, I think I worked out the other year, I think this is before I stopped doing one of my channels, in 2019, I worked on the amount of money I earned for my channel, and I worked out how many hours of work I'd actually done. And I worked out my average hourly rate was £1.20, I think is what it worked out as for the amount of hours I was doing. I was like, who would work for £1.20? Well, maybe in a third world
Depends if
country,
you do
but
it for
not over
money.
here.
Yeah, I mean, like Scream Recipe, I don't do that for money. I'll never make money off that. It's just do you know, like when you're looking at hours there, because that's script, isn't it? I have to write the review. I was doing what you know, I broke it down. So to do one 8-minute video for album of the week, I listen to the album 3 times. So if that's an hour-long album, that's 3 hours. Takes me an hour and a half to write it after that. And then to get all the JPEGs and all the video footage ready alone, that's another hour. Put that on OBR. That's probably, I'd say, 30 minutes, probably an hour.
Yeah.
Recording it, the voiceover, that's only half an hour. And then the editing, like you, I love the editing. I think because it's the last part of the process, you can really be creative with that, with your software.
I wouldn't say I love it. Let's put it that way.
I do. I think that's the fun part. So that's an hour and a half. So you're talking over 10 hours for that. Now here, we don't do any, other than when I look back on the albums from the last month, we don't do anything that's scripted, do we? So if you look at some of these channels that I watch, true crime channels, you know, they'll do documentaries. Yeah. Just imagine how long it takes for them to write that. If that's a 30-minute documentary, you're looking at a good 5,000 words there, easy. So that alone, before they even start doing voiceovers and getting huge about.
And that's the problem. There is, I mean, the only thing you've got that's a benefit for the channel is the fact that you can have point. I mean, I looked at some of the content that's been had comments on today, and they're videos that we put out 8-9 months ago. So the old content still does get picked up, and that's a good thing. It's not like the content goes out and it's got forgotten. And sometimes what happens is an old video, and this is the bit that kills you. This is the bit that does sometimes suck for me, is a video that you've had for a while ago will suddenly blow up, and you're like, "Fuck yes, got 50,000 views on this. This is amazing. Channel's going to take off," and then suddenly it just drops off, and you're back down to like 27 views again. You're like, "What happened? I don't understand. I don't get it. I didn't do anything different, did I?" And then you start trying to think about, how do I replicate that?
Where are the other 49,000?
Yeah, but that's the thing. You're trying to then replicate. So you start trying to look at that video, and then you try and think about, were the keywords correct? Maybe it was the thumbnail, and then you try to replicate that on your most recent videos, and that doesn't work. So you start then getting really frustrated that you can't understand why did something happen, and all it is that at some point, that thumbnail got recommended, your video suddenly by YouTube decided to recommend it to a fuckload of people for some reason, and it got put up on everyone's loading screen. So suddenly you got a load of hits. And then that video got taken off after 24 hours, and so suddenly you won't get any recommendations again. Because you all know what it's like. You go onto YouTube and there's a whole load of videos, and I still see videos that I know I've watched multiple times from like 3 years ago, still getting recommended. But there will be something new, and I'll be like, "Oh, what's that?" And that's where even some of the videos we've reacted to from new bands are because YouTube recommended it, and it pops up on my thing. I'm like, "Oh, let's have a look at that. Yeah, that'd be a good one to review." And that will get added to our review list, not because I've searched them, not because it's been recommended by a person.
That does show the importance of subscribers, though, doesn't it, Dave? I'll give you an example. That channel, Coffee House Crime, I don't think I've subscribed to it, and it went through a stage where it kept coming out, and this is good quality. And I've probably watched it for 3 months, and then the algorithm just removes it, and you forget about it, and then it comes back 6 months later. If I was a subscriber and the notification bell, then it would always come through. That's why YouTube is.
That's why we want it.
Subscribe, isn't it? Yeah, because it'll never disappear.
Anyway, there you go. That's some of the reasons why it sucks, and I am going to keep saying it because it's a much better click.
Demoralizing.
I'm not putting that on the bloody thumbnail.
Yeah.
Why does YouTube demoralize us?
And you'd use the American spelling with the Z as well, wouldn't you? By the way, not anti-American. I just don't like the term.
Yes, you are.
I'm definitely not. I'm not a snob. I'm very pro-America in international affairs.
Yeah, he loves Trump.
No comment.
Now, if you like this video, please do like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on that video sometime very soon. Take care.